Good afternoon, Dylan. It is Wednesday, and your general dislike of cliffhangers is what makes me continually want to end my videos with them. Seeing as how my last video was confusing and difficult to follow, I've managed to actually simplify what happened in my previous video so I can describe it relatively quickly. It started off with a comment made at lunch turned into a joke to harass, maybe not harass because that's a little bit too strong, but to ruffle the feathers of a fellow coworker who happened to be female. This female was the person that is the object of desire of the guy that was primarily talked about in the previous video, and we were just ruffling her feathers throughout the day. Other coworkers became involved in it as the day went on, as these kinds of things tend to do. As the day wore on, and the joke started to wear thin and people just kind of started to give up on it, is when the main character of the last video, that guy with the entitlement issues, as you described him vaguely, got wind of it. He and his obsession took over and he wanted to get involved in this, but he wasn't willing to understand that it was a joke intended to ruffle her feathers and thought it was real, even though people told him it was a joke. He accepted what they were saying as a joke and thought the party was real, which didn't exist. Which just spiraled out of control and ended up essentially crushing this man in some regards, which wasn't anything close to what it was supposed to be, but it went out of control, and parts of what he was told were things to just make this scenario a little more unpredictable and totally more unbelievable. Because of that, expectations were built up to unrealistic standards and then shattered. And oddly enough, that kind of fits in with the theme a few days ago about expectations and where they happen to be and where they end up going. As the guy that you described as being entitled worked his way deeper and deeper and deeper into this joke, not in the way of just continuing to play along with it, but trying to involve himself in such a way that wasn't originally any intention of. Like, he didn't come to her rescue or anything like that, or didn't even try. His obsession took over and he tried to dig in and jump in and wanted this thing to be real. He wanted it to be so real, in fact, that he was willing to walk across town if that's what it took for his obsession to be satisfied. That level of dedication is the word I'm going to throw out here, even though I'm sure you can pick whatever word you want, is what would cause all of his problems. He wormed his way in, and he became the center of something totally separate and pulled it away, and then people wanted to pick on him for it because he was trying to do something he didn't need to do that was essentially a waste of time. If he hadn't have tried to weasel in and steal away the attention and have this obsession that took over his actions, the whole weekend and its fiasco that it spiraled off into never would have happened. Anyway, Dylan, that's all I've got. I hope this helps clarify my end of the story and show that it wasn't intentional to destroy a person. I don't want to say he brought it on himself, because there was a lot of outside help, which I am partially responsible for. I cannot deny that. Where it started and where it ended were so drastically different, most people, almost nobody, should have seen it coming.